Good afternoon, everyone. This is Kathleen Taylor with the Nevada Women's Business Center. I apologize for the delay with getting started with our live stream webinar for Industry Research 101. We had a bit of technical issues and they've been resolved, so thank you for hanging in there with us. So today, I'm going to continue with our Business Basics Academy 5-part webinar series. And this is basically a series that will help a person start a business and also give them some resources and some step-by-step advice and training on how to launch their business, build its infrastructure, and also just hit the ground running with the proper tools that they need. So for today's presentation, I'm going to give you an overview of the Nevada Women's Business Center services and our affiliation with the SBA. And then jumping into the presentation, I'm going to share with you some components of market research, some primary and secondary strategies in conducting research, and also a couple of tips on how to cite your market research within your business plan. So with this, the Nevada Women's Business Center, we are a federally funded nonprofit organization. We are affiliated with the Small Business Administration, the SBA. We provide free services such as counseling for entrepreneur development, training, workshops to help increase the skill level of a person that's starting a business or those that have established businesses. Also, we conduct workshops and classes with community partners as well, such as the Las Vegas Urban League, the Urban Chamber of Commerce, SCORE, the SBA, among others in the community. So thank you so much for being our resource partners in that regard. And we are affiliated with the SBA. We are a program within the Small Business Administration, the Nevada Women's Business Center. And although the majority of our clientele are women, we're not exclusively serving women. We're inclusive, so come one, come all, regardless of what level you're at within your business development, we can help you. Now let's start with the webinar. So looking at the components of market research, we're going to start with the industry. So within the industry, you want to think about the sector of your business, what particular services or products that you're going to provide to your customer base, and what industry does that fall into. And when you're conducting market research, you want to look at the different trends within your industry to see if there's any potential threats and creating barriers for you to enter that industry and to start a business as a business owner. You also want to look at your competitors as well to see what type of landscape there is, and is the competition, is the playing field saturated? Is there an opportunity for you to enter that industry? You also want to look at the growth rates as well, the potential of growth of your products and services in reference to revenue being generated or customer bases being generated or newly defined customer bases emerging. And you also want to look at the sales data within your industry as well to see if by chance maybe there's a peak period throughout the year, maybe it's seasonally, and you have to adjust your marketing efforts, how you engage in your customer base in order to either ride the peak or try to adjust if there is a dip, so to speak, in sales. So all of these components make up what is called the industry or the sector of business that you're entering from a market research perspective. So when you are, if you want more information about your industry, these are the main things that you want to look for in reference to doing research. Continuing with another component of market research is your competition. Within your competition, you want to find research that speaks to your direct competitors' profiles. You want to create that. You also want to create a profile of your indirect competitors as well. So, for example, an example of a direct and indirect competitor. Let's say that you are opening a yoga studio. Well, another yoga studio is your direct competitor. An indirect competitor of a yoga studio would be a Pilates studio. So both Pilates and yoga, they're in the same sphere, so to speak, of business in reference to fitness, well-being, exercise, but they're different in scope and disciplines. So a direct competitor would be another yoga studio or another Pilates studio, but a yoga and Pilates studio, they are indirect competitors. And you also want to do your due diligence and looking at perhaps the websites of your direct competitors within your industry, and also your indirect competitors as well, and see how they compare to the positioning and the benefits and services of your product or service. And you also basically want to see what they do well and what they don't, and take advantage of that to try to create your own competitive advantage based upon their lack thereof. In addition, there's target market, which is another component of market research. So within a target market, you want to research these particular elements. You want to include within your market research the demographics of your customer base or of your clients. And with demographics, you want to know things such as their age, their gender, their income, their buying habits, what trends do they have in relation to your products and services within the industry. Also, you want to look at their geographic location and in reference to, are they in close proximity to the location of your business as well? Where are they located? What zip code do they live in? What is the in reference to the distance from your business to where they reside? What are some key things that you can key upon to kind of give you a clearer picture of who your target market is that you're trying to engage in to buy your product or your service? And you want to create a profile as well of your clients. So that way you have a clear picture of their habits, of how you can kind of get to know the ideal client, and then from there build a strategy, a marketing plan, branding messages, so on and so forth, a PR to try to engage in that target market. And also you want to find out some trends in the industry about how their needs are being met as it relates to your product or service, or how it relates to your industry, and how their needs are not being met, and how you can capitalize on that in positioning your product or service so that they feel that you are an option, your business's product or service is an option for them to meet the need that is not being met in the marketplace. Also, as part of the components of market research, it also includes products and services as well. And here you want to find out information about, or you want to convey information about what you are providing in the marketplace. What services, a description of your services, a description of your products, and also how it will benefit your target market. What features are part of those products and services. And you also want to convey or find out and do some research within your market research How are you developing your product and services? How is it being produced? And how is it being distributed to your, to either business to business to provide a service or a product to a business, or distribute it to the end user within your customer base? So within your products and services research, as part of your market research, you want to keep those things in mind. So when you keep in, when you do research for your industry, you want to, when describing your products and services, you want to keep these key things in mind. Also, there's operations and management as well. So your operations and management, you want to find out information on what is the best way to structure your business. And that's from a standpoint of you're building the business's infrastructure, the processes that are involved. And you also want to plan how you're going to manage that structure as well. So within this, there is the dynamic of working on your business and working in your business. So when you're working in your business, this is like the day-to-day operations, the processes that are involved for things to go. And also that is basically related to how you plan to structure the business, and how you plan to manage the business. That's basically how you were looking at it from an administrator's perspective in making those administration decisions. So this goes hand in hand with market research, and it's a really critical component as well to give you clarity about how you're going to work in your business on a day-to-day basis, and how you're going to work on your business as well, and in the planning and strategies that are involved. Now, let's talk about how to do market research. So generally, there are two specific types of strategies that you can use to collect information when you're conducting market research. One is by conducting primary research, and the second one is by conducting secondary research. And let's look at those two a little bit more in detail. So in conducting your primary research, primary research is basically information that isn't readily available to you. It's some things that you don't know that you'll have to find out. You'll have to put on your private detective cap, so to speak, and do some digging and asking specific questions that you want the answer to as it relates to your business. So looking at this in more detail with primary research, these are some specific questions that you want to ask when you're conducting primary research about your business and about your customer base. So, for example, you may want to poll or survey your audience and ask them, or ask yourself, for your pool of potential customers, how will they respond to your company name? I mean, really think about it. I'm pretty sure that either yourself or you may know someone that has invested a lot of money and time and resources in a company name in reference to getting their business license, their DBA using this name, their website, their email, their promotional materials, business cards, all that good stuff, only to find out that their potential customers are not really feeling the name of the company. So just because you may like the name of of your business, it may not necessarily, jive or align, so to speak, with your potential customer base. So those are some questions. That's a question that you may want to ask or consider. Also, are your customers willing to pay for your product or service? Those are some things that you have to ask yourself. What is it about your product or service that would entice, would influence this potential pool of customers to to um, to purchase, in their purchase and buying power, to make that decision to choose your product or service. So are they willing to pay their dime for it? Also, you also want to ask yourself about, okay, service delivery. How am I going to get this product into my customers' hands in order for them to use accordingly or to provide a service? What does service delivery looks like? And also, are you going to provide the ability to purchase your product or service online? These are some things that some examples of specific questions that you don't readily have the answers to, but they're questions that you can ask your potential clients in a variety of different ways to give you those answers. Now, just so you know, with market research, when you are asking questions, it could be in the form of a focus group. It could be in the form of an online survey, making telephone calls, just having an informal conversation with people that are an ideal customer. You want to keep in mind that these types of questions, when you're conducting this type of primary research, it really does take you out of your comfort zone, because the more objective the more objective a person can be in giving you an answer, an honest answer, the better off that you're going to be. And sometimes honesty and truth, it may be a bit hard to swallow, but it really is in your best interest. So just be prepared when you're conducting primary research, that it does take you out of your comfort zone. And also, I caution you not to ask these questions to your friends and family members, because they may not be the most objective, they may not be the most objective people to pose these questions to, because it may be biased. They want you to be successful. They want you to be happy. They don't want to hurt your feelings, and so on and so forth. So it may be in your best interest to not ask your friends or family members when you are conducting this type of primary research. And you really want to seek out people that would be your ideal customers, to try to glean this research, this information from them when you're conducting your primary research. Now, let's talk about secondary research. So with your secondary research, this is information that is available, to you in various forms, such as industry reports within your particular type of business that's related to your specific product or service. There publications, there are books, there are trade journals. There's the internet. There's all of these different sources of information where you can access information that's already readily available. You just have to sort through it to conduct your secondary research. Now let's look at that a little closer. So what secondary research provides, it provides information about market analysis for your particular product or service. And market analysis, it looks at the size of the market, and also the growth potential as well. How this market has grown through dips and valleys and climbing mountains and spiraling, looking at the growth and size of your product and service from a market analysis perspective. Also, secondary research helps you to look at industry trends that are going on. Are there any things that may threaten or or be a barrier to you entering that particular market based upon the trends? Are there any opportunities within the market that are available that would help you to position yourself to have a more competitive footing within the marketplace? Also, secondary research will also help you to create your customer profiles as well, also your target market. So all of these things are readily available through being diligent in your efforts of doing research, whether it's through a publication, going to a library, going online, looking at trade journals within your specific area of industry, or that's related to your product or service. So this is another component of market research, specifically with the secondary research. Continuing, secondary research, it also involves doing research on your competitors, your direct and indirect competitors. And it also involves doing research on your pricing so that you can position yourself in the marketplace as well. So where primary research, you're basically having a more interaction with your potential customers by asking them, gleaning information from them about your product, about your service, about the features, the benefits, what needs do they that are not being met in the marketplace. Do they feel that your product and service can meet their needs in the marketplace? What do they think about your logo? What do they think about your tagline? All of these different things, that's basically in the realm of primary research, because you're engaging more through either a survey or maybe phone calls or focus groups, or other venues where you can interact with a potential customer base and get their opinion about your business's product and service. Whereas secondary research, you have that information available in the forms of different media, where you can do your due diligence, read those articles, read those trade publications, go online, explore those websites, and you can get that type of research that's already readily available to you. And you can take that data, primary and secondary data, and insert that into your business plan, and that will help to guide you in making a realistic decision as to whether or not your business model is in a position that's viable enough to enter into the marketplace and also to sustain itself, to be successful. Now, here are some resources for you to conduct secondary research. So these all of these websites, they are fantastic fantastic resources of information online, these various websites that will help you to do your market analysis, to find out the trends within your industry, to find out more about your customer profile, to find out more about the growth potential within your industry as it relates to your product or your service. In addition to these are a couple more as well that will help you to conduct your secondary research as well. So if you're looking at your population demographics, if you're trying to figure out, well, looking at it from the perspective of a certain type of area, let's say that you want to specifically find out more information in a certain zip code that your business is going to operate in, or your customer base is in close proximity of, you can use the census.gov website, and that can give you that type of data to glean that demographic information about your target base, in addition to these others. Also, a couple more websites, PR Newswire you can go to this website and search by your industry or even by your competitor as well, and find out different information about things that are trending in that particular industry that will help you to find out what is currently going on with your industry in reference to its growth, its size, its target market, its branding, its positioning in the industry. So that's a really good resource as well online, and that's connected to your secondary research. Also, a couple more, entrepreneur.com and also lvgea.org. It's the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. LVGEA, they on an annual basis publishes the Las Vegas Perspective publication, and it is an excellent depiction of the economic landscape from a business perspective in different industries in Las Vegas, and also Southern Nevada. So I highly recommend that you check out LVGEA for more local data, so to speak. And also entrepreneur.com as well. It's an excellent resource for various aspects in entrepreneur development and business management. Now, looking at the scope of secondary research, I would suggest that you start in this order, where you're looking at your business and industry and its the market analysis, the target market, the competitors, so on and so forth from a national scale. And then you narrow it down and look at your industry with all of those different components of market research from a statewide scale in Nevada, and then down to the county that you're residing in or your business is going to be located in. Perhaps it's Clark County, and look at those various aspects of your market research from that perspective countywide, and then drill down to city in reference to where your business is located in your customer base too. So now when you're looking at your market research, you can actually see if if I'm opening an IT firm, well, and I'm specifically offering services and helping with service server management. I'm just making this up. So if you're an IT firm and you're specializing in keeping servers up to date and running smoothly, and cloud-based servers, then you would conduct your market research taking into account the components that I previously shared with you, and you want to look at that information and research that from a national perspective across the United States, then drill it down to, in the state of Nevada, what are the trends and the market research, what does that look like within the state of Nevada with trends within your industry, with your market growth, your size, your competitors, your customer base. Then you drill down some more to the county that you're going to be located in your business, and then down to the city if possible, specifically city in reference to where your business is going to be located in your customer base, not where your personal residence is. Now, if you're conducting a home-based business, well, then you want to look at, okay, where are my customers residing? And then you can do industry research based upon the different trends within that customer base. So I wanted to give you some tips on how to frame your market research, specifically your secondary research, when you start conducting it. Also, for secondary research, it's really important that you cite the sources. So if you're using a particular publication, or you read some information, you got some facts and some statistics about the trends in your industry, about your target market, about your industry size and growth from different books, from journals, from different websites online. Make sure that you cite those sources within your business plan. And the reason why that this is important is because it really gives you credibility when you are actually citing these sources, because it conveys to the reader, and this reader may be a potential lender, an investor, a business partner, your family member, that you have done your due diligence in doing your research and you're just not making this stuff up. Or you're just not going strictly on your opinion or strictly on your experience, although your experience is relevant. But it's always good to have that objective source that legitimizes why you want to launch this business and how you're going to operate it based upon the industry trends. And in citing those sources, build your argument into a more compelling reason why your business is going to start on solid footing, because you've done your due diligence with the market research, and here's the proof through the cited sources. Now, just a word of caution about conducting secondary research. Basically, you want to make sure that go to publications or journals or articles that are current. Please use current information, not dated information. I would say, and what I mean by current is, I would say 3 years to no more than 3 years, I would say. That's not going back no more than 3 years. I would say that is, current information. Anything more than that, and that's, kind of stretching it a bit. Anything more than that is dated. Also, you want to use relevant information as it pertains to your product or service or your industry. This will help you to focus and to drill down for the specific information that you need for your market research when conducting your secondary research. Also, don't rely solely on the internet. I know there's a plethora of information on the internet online, but do not use that as your one-all be-all, because there are other sources that are just as credible, if not more so, than the internet that can help you in conducting your secondary research. And please, please, please do not plagiarize. Please do not plagiarize someone else's work. That is why I included the information of citing your sources of your market research. So that way you are acknowledging the source of this information, and you're not plagiarizing. So talking about that a little bit more, these are basically some general guidelines when you are citing your secondary research. So anytime you are quoting or paraphrasing, summarizing, or referencing a source, generally speaking, you need to cite that source by using these things. Either put the phrase or the summary or the content or the text in parentheses or a footnote. You want to place this information when you're citing these sources in a separate section of your business plan. And you want to label these sections as works cited or references or bibliography. And that will direct the reader when they see that you've cited a source. So for example, in 27, I'm just making this up, in 2017, the Journal of Health and Wellness cited that there was a 15% increase in yoga studios that are startups, and as a result, that resulted in revenue being generated in a range from 100,000 to 500,000 in 2017, according to the Journal of Health and Wellness. So by saying, according to the Journal of Health and Wellness, in a particular date, and I'm paraphrasing what I read from that journal, I would put that in quotations, and then in a different section, I would put that phrase in quotations within my business plan in my market research section, and then to legitimately cite that source, then in a separate section of my business plan that's either labeled as works cited or references or bibliography, then I would actually write out the Journal of Health and Wellness, what volume, what year, page number, so to speak, to cite that source. Also, a couple more general guidelines when citing secondary research. Basically, all of them includes these basic components when you're citing your secondary research. You want to include the title of the work that's being referred to. You want to include the name of the author of this publication, of this book, of this article, of this blog, the name of the publisher, and the date of the publication. And this, again, this information is going to go into the section of your business plan, usually at the very end, that's entitled References, Bibliography, or Works Cited. Also, you want to include the author or the editor, if available, the title of the text, and also the name of the website if you're using websites as well. Now, speaking of websites, these are some general guidelines when you are citing an online source. You want to include the site sponsor or associated institution or organization that was used that provided this information for you online. You also want to list the date that you went to the site to get this information, and also the URL address as well. So you want to have all of that information in the separate section that's entitled your references, your works cited, or your bibliography section, which is usually the last few pages of your business plan. So basically, I wanted to give you an overview about industry research and how to conduct it, some pointers on conducting both primary and secondary market research, and also how to cite those sources too within your business plan. So I hope that this third series, this third webinar that is part of our Business Basics Academy, our online webinar platform in helping startups in launching their business and establishing their foundation to enhance their professional development as startup business owners, has helped you. And if you have any questions, please give us a call. Here's my contact information. And as a reminder, we have recently relocated. Our new address is 300 South 4th Street. We're in Suite 400. We are within the office suites of the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and it is a great pleasure to be under the same roof, so to speak, as the SBA, given that the Nevada Women's Business Center is a federally funded program under the SBA. So if you have any questions, please give us a call or check us out online for the next webinar or in-class, in-person workshop that we're going to conduct in the community. Go to our website at www.nevadawbc.com. Check out our calendar of events, and hopefully you'll tune in again. So thanks so much for tuning in. This is Kathleen Taylor on behalf of the Nevada Women's Business Center. Until next time, take care.